What's up, everybody? This is Dregs One. Welcome to another episode of the History of the Bay podcast, recorded here at Empire Studios in the greatest city on earth, San Francisco, California. Behind the lens today, we got my man Trevor Potter.
Yay.
Holding us down. And today we got another special guest. I'm gonna give you an intro. I'm gonna give you let me give you some spiel real quick. Let me break it down for the viewers why we're doing this today.
Yeah.
A little bit about my process. I don't chase views. I don't chase the biggest name. If you have a big name, that's great. If you do numbers, that's great. But I'm more into what interests me. What's gonna be an interesting conversation? And this brother right here is very interesting because he's very different. I talk to a lot of people about what's missing in music in the Bay Area and music period. And I'm a person who strives to be positive, who I respect positivity more than negativity, even though I also understand the reality of it. Mm-hmm. But I gravitate towards people that use their platform to improve the lives of other people, to put positive stuff out there. And this brother is doing it in a way that, honestly, I've never seen done out of the Bay Area, Northern California before, ever. Because he identifies himself as a Christian rapper. But as we're going to talk a lot, I mean, I can't say no much more because I just want to get into it, man. I'm here with the one and only Miles Minnick.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
For sure.
History of the Bay, man. What?
Yeah, you got to be on here. Because, yeah, like you actually do numbers. You do your thing. You push your content. You push your music. You push your videos. You're working very hard, bro.
For surely, for a very long time, too.
Yeah, not overnight.
Definitely not.
What part of the Bay precisely are you from?
I'm from Pittsburg.
California. Yeah,
925 West
Okay.
Pittsburg, Bailey Road.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out Shore Acres and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, I was curious about that. Yeah, man. And let's just go right into it, bro.
Let's get into it, man. Let's go.
Were you raised in a Christian household?
Christian by identification, but not Christian by practice per se. Like, my dad, he taught us how to pray before we go to sleep and pray for our food, but there was still like alcohol in the house. There was still like guns in the back and brothers selling drugs and fighting and all of that. And so really the church thing, it didn't come from my upbringing. It came from me wanting to do it eventually. You know what I mean?
I see. So, okay. So talk a little bit more about that. Like, because Pittsburg is, if you're not from the Bay, you might not be too familiar with it. If you're from the Bay, you might not be too familiar with it. Because it's way out there.
Yeah.
In the deep East Bay, as they say, Contra Costa County.
Mm-hmm.
What was your childhood like?
Yeah, man. I mean, my parents split when I was 2 because my mom was diagnosed with schizophrenia. She started like really wilding out, you know what I mean? Being in and out of my life. It's crazy. My mom was actually from the city. She from Lakeview.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah, she went to Balboa.
Okay.
My grandma from out here too, so I got like a little bit of Frisco roots here. But it's growing up single father who was actually really gone a lot of the time too because he had to work a lot in the city. So I was raised by my grandma, my dad's mom. And really, my pop said, look, when I was growing up, I had freedom. So when you turn 11, I'm going to take away your curfew. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, you can come home whenever you want to come home. I'm going to give you $20 a week. Like, go to the movies, have fun, turn up or whatever. And so that resulted in some wild living in a lot of different ways. Not only did I become a teenage father, but, dabbling into drug use, selling drugs in school. I went to my Devil High School in Concord. Now, not a lot of people know about that high school, but it really got active at Mount. Super, super active. A lot of Norths, you know what I'm saying? And the black people really rock with the Norths and vice versa. It'll be a whole lot of Serranos versus Norte, little wars at the school, riots all the time, you know what I'm saying? And back then I was rapping with like DB the General, you know what I'm saying, DSB Click, like DJ Upgrade, like all of them. And yeah, bro, like back then I had no real direction. I just knew I wanted to be famous. I wanted to like put on for Pittsburg and try to get into the music, you know.
Interesting. I was gonna say too, like usually for podcasts I do a lot of research. For you I didn't do because I wanted to find out through conversation.
Let's go.
So I listened to a lot of music and stuff like that, but I didn't like look at any other interviews or read bios or I just go off what I see.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that that was your upbringing, because I mean this in the most respectful way. You have a very like clean cut. You come across very positive, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is not bad, right? Like like that's obviously not an insult. That's a compliment.
For sure.
But I was curious because a lot of people, when they choose a spiritual path, there's some dark chapters that lead them there.
Yeah. 100%. You know, and I didn't have the worst upbringing. Like I had my traumas, but I didn't have to hit rock bottom to reach, you know, the place of spiritual awakening, I guess you could say. But it's crazy. Like I used to be like a huge pothead when I was in high school, like 3 blunts a day type. You know what I'm saying? I had no interest in God, no interest in church. All I wanted to do was get at the girls and make music, right? But one day, it was a Wednesday night, bro, when I was 16. I was in the middle of a smoking session. And my friend Dante was like, hey, bro, we should go to church. I'm like, bro, like, what are you talking about? We're smoking right now. Like, why would you even bring that up? He's like, no, we could go right now. I'm like, bro, what do you mean right now? He's like, bro, it's a Wednesday night. We could go to the youth group, talk to the girls from the local high school, get their number, their Instagrams or whatever. I'm telling you, it's lit. I'm like, bro, you crazy. But they ended up dragging me in there. And then I kid you not, like, when I went in there, I felt something I never felt before. And this is me, like, having no church training. Like, I don't know, you know, how to sing a praise and worship song. I don't know the protocol. I don't know nothing. I'm literally fresh off the street, but I'm feeling something. I'm like, yo, this it was like a warmth. And then at the end of the service, the pastor did what they call an altar call, where it's like, if you want to accept God, come to the front. Never seen that before in my life. I went to the front. I'm just like, tears in my eyes, like, what is going on? What is happening? The pastor prayed for me, touched me on my head. I fell out, bro. I fell out under the power of God, bro. And I'm telling you, I always got to say this, like, I had no church training because I never seen that before. But then after I started doing research, like, I seen that was a constant thing that could happen when you fall under the power of God. Bro, I collapsed on the floor, bro. When I got up, it's like God took away one high and gave me a new one. And that's how I knew, okay, not only is he real, but he cares enough about me, bro, to touch me, bro, as somebody who was fresh off the street, not even looking for him. It's like God set me up to find him. You know what I'm saying? So that started my journey. I didn't become like a church person immediately, but that joint like awakened me to the reality of maybe this could be a thing for me, you know.
Incredible. I knew this was gonna be an interesting story, bro. Wow, that is quite a story, man. What denomination of Christian faith was this?
There was no denomination. Non-denominational.
Non-denominational Christian church. Mm-hmm. What is that? Okay, is that your current practice?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll break that down because I'm a student of the different things, right?
Yeah.
You know, Catholicism, you know, Protestant, Baptist.
Come on. Yeah.
what is non-denominational encompass?
Yeah, non-denominational is the basic essentials of the faith, right? Do you believe in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit? Yes. Do you believe Jesus died and rose on the third day? Yes. Do you believe the power of the Holy Spirit is active today? Yes. Do you believe in the gifts of the Holy Spirit, like prophecy and healing and stuff like that? Yes. And so just basic foundational principles and teaching and practices. You know what I'm saying?
And what's the difference between that and, say, like Catholic or Baptist?
I would say with Catholic, you know, there's a huge emphasis on the saints. Whereas, you know, with non-denominational or traditional Christian, we don't have to go through the saints to get to God or say anything in the name of Mary. And it's, you know, much respect to them, but we just go straight to Jesus. You know what I mean? Instead of going through St. Paul or, I'm not 100% familiar about Catholicism, but I do know that's something that they practice or something similar to that. But yeah, we just go straight to Jesus.
Were you baptized?
For sure.
Okay.
I got rebaptized too before Rolling Loud the other week.
That's probably a good time to get rebaptized.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so non-denominational. What is the history of this branch of Christianity? Like
non-denominational?
Yeah, how far back does that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like when I got into church, it wasn't like I didn't. To be honest, bro, it took me years to even realize what denomination my church was. I had no interest in the categories of church. I wanted to know who God was. I wanted to chase after that feeling I felt that day. I wanted to read the Bible for myself and just be consistent in youth group and just go to church like that. Like to me, a lot of it just feels like clubs, like little Christian clubs, and I had no interest in that, so I didn't really dive deep into the history of these denominations. Now, that's not to say that I shouldn't do it, but I'm not astute in the history of denomination.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
For my own knowledge.
For sure.
In the Black community, I feel like there's more religious diversity than people believe. Right? There's all different types of Christians. There's Muslims. There's Hebrew, Israelites. There's all types of faiths. I often talk to people, not just Black people, but I'll just focus particularly on the Black community, that there tends to be a divergence of opinion when it comes to Christianity, where some people view it as a tool of colonization, as a European religion that was forced upon African people. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, if anybody does actual research, it was in Ethiopia before it was in Europe. Where is Ethiopia? Africa. It's a fact. If people look at it, do their own research, it was in Africa before Europe. And so this narrative, it came from the white man, and they putting it on the black. Bruh, please, bruh, come on, man. Folks got to just stop believing everything they hear and do a little bit more research. And so that's my thoughts on that per se. And bro, like at the end of the day, bro, I have unexplainable experiences in my life that could only be pointed back to God being real. You know what I'm saying? Many. And so when people try to, how do you explain this? How do you explain that? I'm like, bro, listen. I don't care about none of that. I know who I was and who I am today. And I know who brought me here. So it ain't for me, it ain't come from a white man.
Well, that's the definition of faith, right? Isn't it the belief in things that can't necessarily be explained? But I told you before we started I wasn't going to ask you those softball questions.
And I appreciate that.
But see, the thing is I knew the answer to that as well, because the first church the first Christian church was in Ethiopia, as you said.
Come on. Come on.
And there's also, I forget exactly where the source is, but that Jesus' travels took him to Africa as well, I believe.
Yeah, when they was killing all the young men, he migrated to Africa to escape that.
Do you believe that Jesus was black?
I believe he had hair of wool and skin of bronze.
Okay.
So that's what the Bible says. The Bible says that. You feel me?
So,
he was Middle Eastern.
Right.
You know what I mean? He wasn't white.
So the typical image of blue-eyed Jesus is not accurate according to your belief.
According to the Bible. According to the Bible. But every people know that. They know that. They know today's depiction of Jesus is just from, the white supremacy that was ruling the nation. And in a lot of ways still is prevalent in the nation. But It's not factual.
So I don't know if you ever heard of Killer Priest, he was rapping with Wu-Tang, but he has a song called Bible Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. And this is where I learned, according to him, and I've seen other sources, that the portrait of Jesus that we typically see, white Jesus, is actually Cesare Borgia, who was the son of Pope Alexander. I forget which Alexander, but Pope Alexander the Borgia. And the Pope commissioned, I believe, Michelangelo. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm a little bit off, but he commissioned one of them Renaissance painters to put the image of Jesus Christ as his own son. Because at the time, that Pope in particular was using his papacy for political gain. And he had his son. One son was the head of the papal army when the Catholic Church had their own army. And the other son was, I believe, the head of the papal navy. Something like that.
Dang.
So look it up. I don't know.
That's
but
crazy.
Yeah, the image that you typically see in illustrations of Jesus is allegedly Cesare Borgia.
I'm about to find that. That must be like a documentary somewhere or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. What?
So, okay. So so for your understanding is that Christianity actually has roots in Africa, North Africa, the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree, though, that religion, specifically Christianity, has been used as a tool to weaponize against enslaved and conquered people?
Well, yeah. I mean, anything can be perverted, right? Like hip hop music, when it first started, it's very positive, very revolutionary, and then some will say it got perverted to become something that pushes negativity and violence and the glorification of murder, right? And so the Bible is not exempt to that. The Word of God is not exempt. There are some scriptures that people with ill intent have used to keep people in an enslaved state, in bondage. So that is a fact, for sure.
Well, that's good to at least acknowledge, right? That there's some truth in just about anything, damn near, right? Except the outright lie. But so, there's two things can be true at the same time. Is really what I mean to say. So, the African roots, but also, the power dynamics at play. But
right.
Also, if you look at the history of black people in America, the church has been one of the only safe places to organize in the community because it was like the one sanctuary that even white folks left alone. Not all the time, but a lot of the time.
Yeah. A lot of the revolutions in this nation came out of the church. The civil rights movement came out of the church. They organized, like you said, within the church. Martin Luther King was a pastor. The history he made it as a man of God with Christian beliefs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now he has a boulevard in every urban city in the country. He got a holiday. And everybody know, I have a dream. That came from his Bible belief and him implementing, his faith.
Absolutely. And on the other side, too, Malcolm X was, very religious, practicing Islam. So
the CIA really killed Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
That came out.
They admitted it.
Yeah. That's freaking crazy, bro.
I think they admitted it with Malcolm, too.
It's like we all knew that, but for them to admit it and for nothing to be done about it, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I know that's a side note. That's just kind of crazy to me.
No.
What the freak,
it's hard to wrap your mind around. But I don't want no smoke with the CIA, so.
I mean, maybe they killed Tupac, too.
Yeah, I mean, well, since you said it, I mean, I will say, if you look at the interference of the FBI and using informants to bring down black revolutionaries on documents is not conspiracy theory. And the fact that the guy they got now arrested for that murder, Keefe D, is an informant. It's a little curious. It's a little strange.
Brother.
But hey, man, we're here to talk about you.
Yeah, come on.
All right. So you go to this youth event.
For sure.
You have a religious, spiritual awakening, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that didn't lead you right away to your current path. It took a little while.
Correct. So after that day, I would go every Wednesday, just trying to like investigate what I felt. But that didn't lead to an immediate life change. I was still smoking. I was still messing around with the girls. I was still like living that teenage life I was living. You know what I'm saying? But bruh, something else happened when I was 18. So I was in this transition place to where like I had my friends from the hood that was like, Miles, bro, you gotta stop trying to be a little church boy. Like, come rock with us. Come smoke. Come make the music you used to make. Then I had my girl who was like, nah, let's dive deeper into positivity, into the church. And so I'll never forget, it was a Saturday night. And I felt like a tug of war, low key, like in my soul. Like which way should I go? Like I was confused. And so I said, God, if you are real, I want you to speak to me in church tomorrow. And this is documented. I have this whole thing, it's recorded, like what's gonna happen. And so I went to church the next day, but I was late. So I had to sit all the way in the back. And mind you, bro, it's like 1,000 people in the church, like packed, bro. And there was a guest speaker that day from Atlanta who has never seen me before in his life. And before he could even speak for his message, he sees me in the back. Hey, young man, come here. I come all the way to the front. He's like, you've been asking God to speak to you. God is telling me to tell you. He wants you to make music for him. And it's going to go all over the world. He's going to use you on social media. And he's going to use you to save your generation. He prays for me. I'm crying on the floor. The whole church just like starts covering me and loving on me. Freaking 21-day revival starts in my church. And my life changed forever. That was like the full like convincing I needed. And I say it's recorded because, bruh, that thing is like on a playlist, like on my phone. Like I listen to that thing like even to this day, like to remind me of like God's plan for me. You know what I'm saying? And so that really made me like turn, but it took a few years, you know, to get there for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that there are no coincidences, right? That is, so at the very moment that you asked for a sign, you received one.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
What do you think it is that there's a lot of people that are like struggling through different things, right? Trauma, mental health, addiction. There's a lot of people who are asking for an answer, asking for a sign. Sometimes not everybody receives one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the difference is there? What do you think explains that? Why out of all the people asking for a sign, you receive one, but why there's some people that don't get the answers that they seek?
I think a lot of times, you know, God could answer prayers in different ways, you know. Like, for instance, somebody could pray, God, give me patience. Instead of God downloading patience into you immediately, he may put you in a situation that requires patience, that would develop patience within you. You know what I'm saying? And I had a lot of prayers around the time of my life that if God would have gave it to me, it would have ruined me. God, make me famous. God, I want to be rich. But if I would have had it back then, it would be like a kid who's too young to drive getting a car. It's the right blessing at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? So in a lot of ways, you know, the Bible says, not only acknowledge him in all your ways to direct your path, but his thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. You know, and so we think that we know exactly what we need when we need it because we feel that feeling of it. But if you just lean into God, eventually you'll get everything you need. And when it comes to the signs, I feel like if you just search long enough or wait and listen long enough, you'll get one. And it may not be like a big moment like that I got that day. You know what I'm saying? But God speaks through various ways. Like even yesterday when I had this, this whole week, like I had this E40 shoot this week. And I'm at Guap Dad 4000 for the first time at the airport. Now, I didn't know he owned Hyphy Burger. But when I'm talking to him, it's all love, and we just chopping it up. He's like, yo, I'm out here to check on the restaurant. I'm like, bro, let me know if I could record my video with E40 at your restaurant. He's like, say less. Boom, he made calls for me. I pull up to Hyphy Burger. The whole hood came out for us. It was lit. I felt favor. I'm like, okay, God, you speaking, you talking. I feel like God was blessing it. And then, boom, the E40 thing in Dublin. Everything smooth, everything going crazy. We got different things happening. Boom, 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 boom. It was flowing. Like, I felt like that was a sign from God saying, son, I'm with you. I'm blessing this. I'm involved in this joint. And so, I know that was a long answer, but God could talk through different ways at different times.
That was a good answer. That was a good. See, I told you, man, I wasn't gonna ask you no softball questions because I had a feeling you could handle them.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm really hoping that people watching this are getting something out of this.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that a lot of people, it's just for lack of a better term, atheists, right? They will. A lot of people will say, how could there be a God, or like, what kind of God could allow all these horrible things? Babies getting blown up or all types of things. What kind of God would allow that to happen? That is a question that I see a lot of people who challenge spirituality asking.
Yeah. Well, God is not a dictator. You know, if you look in the Bible, you look throughout history, you look in present day, we have free will. So God has desires for us. God has a plan for us. It's up to us to follow that plan and to adhere to that desire. You know what I mean? And so God is not going to control people. He's going to give people an opportunity to choose. And so the evil you see in the world is people choosing evil and not choosing him. And that breaks God's heart just as much as it breaks everybody else's. You feel me? And so don't blame God for that. Blame the evil in the world. That's my answer to that.
That's a good answer, dude. It's funny because a couple weeks ago, DB the General, of all people who you just mentioned, he was talking about the devil, and like we kind of had a conversation that, you know, the devil was created as part of what you're saying, the choice.
Yes.
You have to have, first of all, you can't have negative without positive. You have to have some opposites, right? You have to have the darkness so the light can shine. You have to have rain so you can have sunshine. They have to coexist. But we're basically talking about how, like, you know, God allowed the devil to exist so that, you know, humans could have a choice because, like you said, free will, right? Like any other living creature on earth goes off pure instinct.
Yep.
You know, you'll never see an animal choose to be lazy.
Right.
Or choose to, you know, what they're going to eat. They just program whatever their brain tells them to do, they do it. We're given the choice, and that gives power to our positive choices when we do make the right decision. That's what makes it powerful.
Facts.
The fact that we, out of our own free will, decided, we made a decision. And I deal with a lot of stuff too all the time, like looking at, you know, like the streets, right? The whole question of product of environment, product of your decisions. And the environment plays a heavy role in how you're programmed as a child. But even dealing with children, I've dealt with 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. I'm like, bro, I understand, like, you have all this going on in your household, your neighborhood, all that. But, dude, you gotta choose. Like, what do you want to do, bro?
Yeah,
like,
buddy.
Because for anybody who came up in an environment like that, who's doing the wrong thing, there's someone you can point to that's doing the opposite.
For sure.
So it does come down to that free will.
Yeah, it does. You know, I could have chose to go down the path my brother went down, my uncles, my cousins. But like you said, it's like you have a choice. That's the key word in that. And I want it better for myself, better for my future family, you know what I'm saying?
So while you're going into the church and changing your life, your brother was going in a different route?
Yeah. We low-key switched places.
Really?
Because at first, he was trying to convince me to go to church. I'm like, bro, you wildin'. Like, come on, man. But then I started going, and he stopped going. and then he started to get heavy in the streets. Yeah.
Is he still dealing with that?
He in jail right now. Yeah, he should be out this year.
Okay.
But yeah, it was rough.
Well, free bro.
Yeah, free bro, free Jeffrey, man, straight up.
So you go to church, you get this message, and the music is part of the message. Where does that take you from there in terms of pursuing your craft?
I mean, it was crazy because I thought after hearing that it was finna happen immediately, right? So I was working at the movie theater, all cocky, all confident, like, man, y'all don't know, I'm about to be traveling the world. I'm finna be out of here. Give me 2 weeks, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? But I realized I was rushing God instead of trusting God. I was trying to get him to conform to my timetable instead of me leaning into his. You know what I'm saying? And so from that day to me being a full-time artist, it took 6 or 7 years. And so within that time, I'm working full-time from the movie theater to Wells Fargo, then to Travis Credit Union. And I was a youth pastor at that same church I walked into high that day. And still working on music on the side. You know what I'm saying? Until the top of 2018, bro, I felt like I heard the voice of God. I know this is like real spiritual, like folks may think I'm crazy, but I felt like I heard God say, bro, put your all into the music and watch what I do with it. That was January 2018. And so what did I do? I listened to that voice that I heard. Same month, bro, I started doing all kind of shows in Pittsburg, Antioch, and Concord, Walnut Creek, just any type of show I could. And I was posting on Instagram, there's all kind of freestyle videos. And then I took a show in Pittsburgh called the 9 Quota Awards. It was almost like the Gangster Rap Awards for 925. And I was the only Christian rapper there, right? But I know everybody because I'm from the same area that everybody from. And so, bro, I get on stage as the only Christian rapper there. I do a song. In the middle of the song, the music gets cut off. I'm like, I could have overreacted in the moment and been like, yo, DJ. But instead of doing that, bro, I did a freestyle. I freestyled a hook. Devil wanna run up on me, it's bad. God on my side, God is my dad. If the devil wanna run up on me, it's bad. Bro, the whole theater went stupid. Went crazy to that joint. Acapella. I ran it back like twice. Somebody filmed it. It went viral on Facebook. And that gave me a career. Immediately after I heard that voice, leaning into what the voice said. You feel me? Then it gave me a career. Then I sampled D-Lo NoHo. And the devil wanna run up on me, it's bad. And that became the joint that really gave me a platform to stand on.
Wow.
You feel me? Another thing you can't make up. For real. And I got footage of that too, all proof.
What you're talking about is like, this is how it happens for a lot of people, right? Like, again, when you talk about like, not a lot of people, but people who are, there's people who are like trying to understand, why isn't this happening? Why didn't I make it yet? How do I do this? How is this going to happen? And it's crazy things that, it's like when it's your time, right?
Yeah.
And if you're moving in the right direction and you're setting your intentions, for you it's very specific attribution to God, your faith. For some people it might not. They might not describe it the same way. They might just say right place, right time.
Yeah, or you're the universe or like whatever.
It's the same difference, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the energy, the higher power, the destiny, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter because I believe it's the same source, right? That's just, when it's time when it's time to happen for you, it's going to happen. I first, around the time I first heard it, I don't know if it was like maybe like 2 years ago or so, just seeing clips and stuff. There was one story you told about, your job, your last job.
Yeah.
your previous employer.
Shout out Travis Credit Union.
Okay, what happened with your last job?
So, that was like my last job ever, my last 9 to 5. I was working at Travis and let me not say the location. and and I love Travis. Shout out to them, great company. It really helped me get on my feet and get my savings account where it should be and all of that. So, bro, I was working this job for like 9 months. But as I'm working the job, like I told you, my music started to really like pop off. And so I'm working, but I'm calling off to do shows, like go to LA, and like, so I'm missing a little bit of the work. And bro, I kid you not, like during that process of me having that moment in church, hearing about my future and becoming full time, I was quitting jobs left and right, like trying to chase after that joint, but none of it worked. And so when I took this job at Travis, I prayed and I told God, I said, God, I'm not finna quit this job. Like, I quit too many trying to rush you instead of trust you. I'm gonna trust you. If you want me to be a full-time artist, go all over the world, God, you do it. I told him that. You feel me? And so, boom, music popping, I'm working. Music popping, I'm working. So eventually, I'm getting so many opportunities that was jeopardizing my job. And so, once again, me and wifey prayed again and said, God, you see what's happening, but we told you we're not finna quit this job. So we gonna need you to do something. The morning after, I go to work. They call me in and they fire me. And the manager said, who knows? Maybe now your rap career will finally take off. And then immediately after I got fired, I became one of the most booked artists in my genre, in my niche. And that brought me here today to where I am today.
Incredible. As I've like I said, I saw the clip on Instagram, but now that I'm here face to face, looking you in the eyes, I see how strongly you believe in everything you're saying.
For sure.
And it's very powerful, bro. That's another reason I wanted to have you on here, because I knew that there was a lot of power in this story that people needed to hear. But one question, have you talked to that manager since?
Nah, you know what? You know what? I had one last opportunity to do it 2 days ago, but it would have been petty.
Oh, you was gonna stun on him?
No, because my business manager there, they told me and my team to like take all of my accounts and put it into one bank instead of spread it out. And so I was taking all my money out of Travis, and I was like, I could go over here so they could see, you know, because that's my last Travis opportunity. I'm not finna go to Travis no more. So I could have went there and did it. Like, hey, yeah, this is what you fired, you know, like, yeah, you was right though. My career did take off though. You was right. Hey, peace. But I let it slide. Like,
that wouldn't. Yeah.
That
wouldn't have been on brand for you.
For surely not. It's still a little bit of that in me though, but I'll be having to, like, you feel me?
Yeah, I mean,
silence it.
Okay. Well, that's another thing I actually want to talk about, because, you know, I think a lot of people who are very open about their faith, where they get crossed up is hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
And the phrase holier than thou.
Right.
And that's when you get the example of, you know, the pastor who gets caught cheating on his wife, or, you know what I mean? Whatever, the dude stealing from the collection plate, or what are some of the tests to your faith that you have to go through?
Well, you know, we all have temptation, you know, as humans. You know, some temptations can be different for different people, you know. And I think a lot of our temptations are shaped by how we grow up or the pleasures we indulged in when we were younger. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was a heavy pothead. When I smell weed now, I do get the urge to lean into that. You know, I'm not saying that's a sin, but it is a temptation for me. And it is definitely off-brand for me. I got a song called Sober. I mean, you feel me? Like, that would be crazy for me. And then, like, me being somebody of influence, of course, that comes with attention. And with attention, it could come with, you know, girls and them trying whatever they want to try. And when you do have influence, it could be easier for you to have access to indulge into certain things. So the temptation is there. But the question is, you know, do you have people around you to be safeguards for you and to help you stay focused? And the answer to that question for me is absolutely yes. I got my team around me, my business partner, my manager, my videographer. They all men of God, and they all know, like, yeah, we locked in, we staying focused on this joint, because I refuse to become one of them people that slip off of.
Yeah, please don't. I mean, because we got this documented right here, right? Like we was just talking about this. So if a year later is you get caught up in some situation, I don't want to have to look back on this like, oh no.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Like I'm doing everything to make sure I don't become that. But pray for the people that do slip into that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, they have grace for themselves, but they don't have grace for others when they fall.
Very well said. Very well said.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, pray for everybody, man, who may slipped up, because God not done with them.
No, I agree. And there's always second chances, and you have to be honest that everybody makes mistakes. And I mean, I as a man, in the mature sense of the word, you have to be very intentional. It doesn't. You can't. You don't just become who you're supposed to be by accident.
Yeah,
you have to work at it. And
facts.
I stay grounded in a lot of, in my current trajectory by purposefully trying to not slip into who I used to be or certain patterns or behaviors that I grew up with that were acceptable when I was, or even necessary for survival when I was younger, in terms of how I would deal with situations or problems. I try to remind myself that anybody can slip and fall. You know what I mean? There's a number in the penitentiary waiting for anybody. You might be the most well-behaved, mild-mannered person ever, and that, you know what I'm saying? I think about that a lot. I think about, knowing so many people that lost their lives senselessly. That, that one traffic road rage incident you might have, that might, you know what I mean? That might be the incident that takes you away from your family.
Yeah, for a long time.
And, even like you said, the smaller temptations, right? Like, do I want to stun on this person? Do I want to post this message that might not be the healthiest thing? Do I want to brag? Do I want to complain? Do I want to criticize? Those challenges of handling situations are what really make or break a person, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just staying on a straight and narrow, having your guiding compass, whatever that compass is for you. You know what I mean? We got to stay locked in, focused.
And you're, wedding ring gang, so you're married up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so did you marry the mother of your child?
No.
Different.
Yeah.
Okay. How long you been married?
In 2 weeks, it'll be 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. We got married real young.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You got any advice for? I've only been married about a year, man. You got
Let's go, brother.
You got any advice for?
It's crazy. E40 was giving me marriage advice yesterday, which is, what you could probably expect. But he was like, communication. Waking up, complimenting your wife, like, babe, you look good today. And just always, reminding her of why you fell in love with her, and having those actions that support that. You know what I'm saying? And two, personally, date nights, bro, is so important. Because people like you and me, entrepreneurs, like the grind is always there.
Yeah.
And a 9 to 5 is different because doing this is like 24 hours. So to be intentional. Intentionality is the word. Date nights. We got marriage Mondays. For me and Tina, we lock in. Going to the movies, dinner, whatever. But with the busy life and the kids, gotta have that time.
Very, very healthy advice, man. Very wholesome stuff here on this podcast.
Come on, man.
Shout out to the wives, man. His wife, my wife, and all the wives out there, and all the future wives out there.
Hey, come
on. Cool, man. So, all right. You start taking off now. So now let's get into the music. Your music, okay. When I was coming up, right, like probably even honestly, bro, until I saw you. If you ask me about Christian rap, Christian rock, to me it was like some corny stuff, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure you've heard that.
What's up?
Like, and a lot of it was corny, right? Like, it was just not, it's just like, bro, this is not relatable. This is not.
Yeah.
But your music, your beats, your flows, your hooks, it's very compatible with like contemporary hip hop.
For sure.
And it's basically like it's just a switch of subject matter. So like some of your beats are like aggressive, right? And but instead of like talking about like killing someone with a gun, you're talking about like fighting the devil.
Yeah. Facts.
A song that could be like a twerk song is like a prayer song. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
How like what are the challenges of being a Christian rapper and people like boxing you into the category I described previously, but trying to break out in what you're currently doing?
To be honest, it hasn't really been a challenge. It's been real organic. Like, we're getting a lot of love, from the mainstream space, or the secular space, they would call it. You know what I'm saying?
The what space?
Secular.
Secular. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, because like you said, like it's compatible. It sounds similar. The quality is up to par with what they're doing in the mainstream space with the radio play. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's a different subject matter. It's almost like we're putting the medicine in the candy. Like the candy it's still slapping. It's still a catchy hook. I may not talk about God in the hook, but I'm sprinkling in that verse a little bit for you. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna keep it clean, and then send you on about your day. You know what I'm saying? So it really hasn't been like put them in a box. It's been more so like being embraced.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy to see, man.
That makes sense because like a long time ago when I first got into hip hop, like some of the stuff I was doing was like very political because that's what I was feeling at the time. But I realized that it was going over too many people's heads. And it was just too much like forcing it on people. And
you talking.
Yeah, it was a little much like too much on Front Street. And it's like it just not everybody relates to that type of stuff. So when you say putting the medicine in the candy, I understand that because you kind of got to like sneak it in, right? In a way to where like if someone's like, yo, you want to hear some Christian rap? They might be like, no. But if you just like press play, it might be like, oh, this slap. What is this? Oh, it's Miles. He a Christian rapper. For real? It's tight.
Exactly. I always say like once you realize it's Christian, it's too late. Like you already like it.
Right.
You already tapped into it.
Right.
And two, like even for Rolling Loud, bruh, to book me and give me an official slot, like not as the Christian artist in the Christian section. They put me on the second biggest stage at a good time. Like actually booked me, dog. Come on, man. That just shows like the impact that we've been able to make and the noise we've been able to make, bro. You said it at the top of the pod, like me doing this kind of music is actually doing numbers.
It's doing numbers, yeah. You're doing great, bro.
It's doing numbers. And before I started doing it, big bro, like everybody around me was like, bro, you finna waste your career. You finna waste your life. Like, what are you doing? Like, you gonna waste your talents, like doing it for God. It's not finna work. But it's working.
I mean, the other flip side of that is there's so much spirituality in hip hop.
Yeah.
Right? Like one of my favorite artists is the Jacka. He's
Come on.
a Muslim rapper.
Yeah.
And he has songs about the Quran, about praying. He prays in his videos. He's constantly showing Islamic imagery, but he doesn't get boxed into like Muslim rap.
Yeah.
And even like you mentioned E40. E40 has a lot of songs about God and some of it is almost like church songs. Some if you listen to his catalog, right? And I noticed like you have songs with 310 Baby, you have songs with The Boy, you have songs with P-Lo, I Am Sue, right? A lot of rappers are like religious, spiritual, faith-based people. So, and so many rappers have done songs about God or talking Tupac, right? Talking to God or so it's kind of tight to see how well that your music like translates into this space.
Oh man, it's so fire to me. It's really a dream. Like I thought in order to do music for God, I had to leave like, everything behind in terms of culture and all of that. But I woke up one day like, nah, like God want to use every part of me. You know, my upbringing, the culture I grew up in. Like, man, forget all that. Let me make hyphy music for Jesus. Let me turn up for God. You know, let me tap in with the artists that inspired me growing up, like P-Lo and Sue and Fody. And let's do a song about God and make it slap. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I just love it. I love it. Like a lot of people say, oh, he holy and hyphy. You know what I'm saying? But it's a dream, man.
I mean, it's tight, bro. It's like, you know, when I was young, there was no artist like you, right? I was influenced by artists who were influenced by the grimiest, mobbiest, you know what I mean, craziest subject matter that was relative to like what we were seeing. And I look back at it now as a grown man, is like that was such a toxic environment to grow up in, to where negativity is respected, and you feel like you have to, like, there was no space to be quote unquote soft.
Yeah, bro.
You had to be on some thug stuff.
Yeah.
To just be generally socially accepted to step outside. That's how I felt growing up. But I'm gonna say this in the most respectful way possible. What you're doing is like would be considered square, but it's hip to be square, right? Like I'm a square. I don't consider myself a gangster or a street dude. I'm a square from Delaware, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? But so what I'm saying is, you're showing your audience that it's okay to not be on that other side. If that's you, cool. That's real, right? Just like I say a lot on this podcast, just be yourself. But you're showing people that it actually is tight. It's cool to like go in this positive direction. You ain't gotta smoke. You ain't gotta drink.
And I want to show people it's possible to carve out your own lane and be successful in music too.
Right.
You know, a lot of people think you gotta talk about X, Y, and Z in order to have radio play, a fan base, a tour, and all of that. But no, literally, bro, like we're living proof that you could, bruh, just talk about God, Jesus, your religion, and get popping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't gotta talk about killing nobody no more, bro. It's 2025, bro. Like if that's what you do, cool. But no, it could be a whole different wave for you, and we on a whole different wave.
That's the message that I want to get across on this platform. Because I was just talking with someone last night, and they said that, oh man, you got to be on some trap stuff. You got to be on some murder music. I said, bro, the biggest rapper in the world right now is Kendrick Lamar.
Come on.
He's a 37-year-old dude who can go into that, talk about those issues
if he want to.
But he is, for lack of a better term, like a conscious
He's like a
artist.
conscious rapper.
Yeah.
He's making conscious slaps.
Yeah.
Not like us, is a conscious slap.
Slapper. Yeah.
You know how much substance is in that song?
Yeah.
And it was the biggest song in the world?
Exactly.
That's medicine in the candy, bro.
Right.
And that's exactly what we're doing.
Right.
And he be talking about God. Bishop had the Bible of God watching.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, bro. He low-key a Christian rapper, dog.
No, that's what I was getting at. There's so many artists that have incorporated their faith into their music. You're just really pushing the line and making this a big part of, for lack of a better term, your brand.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not marketing, but it's who you are. But it works because, like I said, it just gives people something different to gravitate to.
Yeah, you know, hip hop is all about being authentic. It's about being real, and a lot of people not being real.
Yeah,
talking about murder and all that stuff we mentioned before. But like, what's real to me is being a husband. What's real to me is being in front of Bae. But what's also real to me is, bro, I go to church. I love God. I teach my kids how to pray. You feel me? And so mix all that together, you get this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Just be yourself. And that whole faking and perpetrating is really old.
And we could spot it out easier than ever before now.
Very easy. I could sniff it out. I could see man. Just how you shake my hand or how you look at me or how you don't look at me. Like some of the dudes talking the hardest stuff in their music, I meet them, I'm like, oh, you're pretty soft there, buddy. Some of the dudes that's talking about the ladies and all and how many they got and how they'll get your girl and all that. There's no women to be found around you.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
The money, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, there's just a lot of fronting.
We almost can't blame them, man. It's just cause that's all we know. Like growing up, that's all we've seen. So we really got to just show people that there's a different way to do it. You know, and so that's why I appreciate you, man, for bringing me on your platform. You know, maybe this could be the start to something new.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to keep this conversation rolling. Cause well, there's a few other things.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was saving this question. It's something I was really thinking about. We talked a little bit about the devil, right? As you're entering into this space of music, even mainstream music, do you believe that there is a lot of devil and occult symbolism in entertainment?
Yes, for sure. Undeniably, undoubtedly, obviously, it's there. And it's crazy. When I was in high school, I used to dive deep into the Illuminati conspiracies and stuff, but I'm not talking about conspiracies. Like, I'm talking about actual, like, it's obvious, bro. Like, literally, at different festivals, bro, it'll be certain artists that will have stuff on the screen that's really questionable, and then stuff that's not even questionable. It's like, oh, no. It says Satan on the screen. There's upside-down crosses everywhere. Like, this is not, like, a conspiracy no more. They're putting it in your face. Technically, you want to call me a Christian rapper? They're demonic rappers. This is demonic artists. You understand what I'm saying? And so if they're going to push a hard line for that, why would I not push a hard line for this? Come on, man. You think we finna shrink back as believers when they going crazy on stage? And one of the queen of music talking about ripping pages out the Bible and plugging a period with it? Come on, man. What we talking about, man? That's why I push a hard line. We gonna make slaps for the soul, slaps with substance. We gonna make it dance, turn you up, but turn you up. Come on, man. Hey, they got me effed up. See, you pressed the button.
I knew I would.
You pressed the button. Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about navigating these spaces as you go in? Because we know that some of it is seen in the creative side, but it really goes down behind the scenes. How do you feel
the
about
little rituals and stuff? How
do you feel about navigating these spaces as you get further into the music industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Over the past year, I feel like we almost been like catapulted into the mainstream. Because for a while, I was only like amongst the Christian circles. But it's like moving to LA, like everything changed, for the greater. And so now that we're starting to be in these rooms, we just got to keep the main thing. Why do I do what I do? I don't do what I do just for the sake of being famous, right? I do what I do to be a positive impact on the world. And if I'm making money from what I do, the goal isn't just to be rich. It's to be a blessing to other people, right? So a lot of people fall victim to the occult or the industry when they have greed. When I just want to be the biggest ever. Like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Like, that type of mindset. You feel me? So I'm not going in there thirsty for nothing. Like, even if I didn't have this platform, I got God. Yeah, before anybody knew who I was, God knew who I was. You feel me? So what can they offer me that God has not given me? Nothing. And God about to blow me up. I don't got to sell no soul. Straight up. They going to wonder how he did it. And I guarantee you, Kendrick, come on, man. Kendrick, the biggest rapper in the world with his soul intact. I mean, as far as I know. But we could tell he ain't out here fooling with no industry nonsense. Understand what I'm saying? And so, hey, he almost laying out a blueprint. You feel me? But as for me and my team, I ain't tripping off none of that. Now, I may be at some events like the Jordan Party, All-Star Weekend, and different Grammy things, but I ain't going to no back rooms. Let me make it clear. I will be at these Grammy parties and all of that, and we gonna turn up after we win the awards and all of that, but you will not see Miles Minnick in no back rooms.
I mean, it's part of this is like, part of being grounded in your beliefs is allowing people to be grounded in theirs, even if
Boom.
they're straight up on the other side of what you believe in, even if they are tapping into dark energies. You gotta let people rock, right?
Yeah, let them rock. Just don't put no hex, or try to put no hex on me and my team, or say I gotta convert to, dark magic.
Or just compromise in any way, right? Because I think you hit the nail on the head. Is like, I'm not saying anything concrete about anything, right? We're just talking, but I think what you said gets to the root of the matter, where like, yeah, if you're thirsty for fame, you can sell your soul without literally selling your soul. Maybe you did write a contract in blood, or maybe you just decided to do some things that compromised who you are, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you did decide to use your body, or give up your body, or your spirit,
Your
or
morals.
your morals. You just made a deal. There are rooms, like you said, you can walk into where you can walk out a superstar, but it's going to come at a price. That might come at the price of some business price. Oh, I had to give up all my publishing. That might come at some physical price. I had to give up my body. That might come at a spiritual price. Like, I had to renounce my beliefs. It depends on the person holding the strings, I guess.
Because that's definitely an example of selling your soul. Is like you giving up everything you believe in to gain something that's vain. You know what I'm saying? That's like me going into a room. They're like, yo, if you just never talk about God again in your music, we'll make you the biggest star ever.
Right.
That's selling my soul, man.
Right.
But we cool off that.
Yeah, no.
We cool.
That's not going down around here.
We cool.
I've seen people for sure sell their souls without, some big ceremony ritual, just on some, like I said, just getting lost in the sauce and turning their backs on who they are for for what they call it, 40 pieces of silver or whatever, you know what I mean?
And I'm trying to navigate, because you said it, bro, like, I don't have many examples to look at as far as, who has done this successfully and took it far. And so with me working with everybody and being in all these places, we just got to stay honed in.
I'm sure you will. I have faith in you, bro. I believe in you, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, bro.
I want to know what has been the response from the fans, because you have a crazy fan base, bro. You got a big fan. I be seeing the comments. I be seeing the people playing your music. It seems like that mission you talked about earlier. Like, it seems like you have really inspired and helped a lot of people out there.
Like the response from them, like with me working with certain artists. Or
No. In
in
general, to your music, your whole path. And
yo, we low key have an army for real. Glo Nation, shout out to the glowers, man. Shine your light. I mean, every festival we do sells out every single year. Every tour stop across the country, packed out. Every comment section that I have, unbelievable. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing that we haven't had is like a big playlist support up to this point, but we've had huge organic groundswell and support. Dog, this is one of the biggest blessings of my life, like having a movement behind us that's really pushing the message and movement to mainstream spaces, dog. It's unbelievable.
Well, what are some of like the specific things that people are like? What are some messages and stuff that people have told you about the impact that you've made?
Oh yeah, like, man, like, your music changed my life, man. I used to be a heavy alcoholic or heavy drug user, but listening to your song sober, it was a soundtrack to my deliverance. It was a soundtrack to my freedom. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Keep doing it. Then a lot of people was like, yo, your music helped me, delete my toxic playlist, because your music, it low-key sounds toxic, but it's not toxic. You know what I'm saying? And so I get that same feeling, that same bounce with a positive message. It's something I could play around my kids. It's something I could play in front of my parents, my grandparents, where we could all enjoy it as a family, but it still got that bounce, that sauce to it. And man, it's crazy, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people look for like shortcuts in the music game, but it's really about that. It's about connecting with people and what type of impact you have. And so now, okay, so your music is going through Empire, right?
Yeah.
And
shout out Empire, man.
Yeah. I just saw like, didn't you just announce something with them recently, or?
Yeah, we announced the partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I have a joint venture with them. Like my own label is like under them, as well as my career. So that's super fire. And we also announced my 4th annual Bay Area Christian Rap Festival in Castro Valley, July 26th. That joint finna be crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I gotta get you out, bro.
Yeah, please do.
Let's maybe you can set up a pod or something.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
We
Heck bro.
can do it. Yeah, I can ask some more challenging questions to people.
Yeah, that'll be hard.
I can test some people's faith out there. But yeah, I mean, either way, I'll come pull up, check it out.
Yeah.
What's the next drop? What the latest drop, or what do you want people to go check out?
Hey man, we got so much going on. I just dropped Twin with 3-0 baby.
It's a good one.
That's my Inglewood twin. That thing going crazy. We got the Twin Dance Challenge popping off on Instagram and TikTok. I just dropped Heaven Sent with Lecrae. That's going stupid. And then tonight I got a new song coming out with Lecrae called On Time. But I need everybody to buckle up and tap in for my project coming out called Get Well Soon, May 18th. No. Hear what I'm saying. This project got some heaters, some history makers, some ground shakers on that mug. When you hear track 2, track 3, 4, and 5, and 6, it's gonna change your life. I'm telling you. And we got legends on there. It's a joint project with me and Lecrae. A lot of people say he's like the pioneer of Christian rap. It's almost like a torch passing moment. But we're gonna do it for the culture, you dig? Let's glow.
Amazing. Look forward to checking it out, bro. I'll definitely support it.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm gonna play it for you too when you take me to the airport.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we about to slide to the to SFO after this. But yeah, bro, we'll run this back. There's much more we could discuss, and we will discuss. But I feel like this was a great start, bro. Great introduction.
Oh man, I wish you would have heard this song before we talked. This song I got with Uncle Earl. It's the Compton, Stockton, Richmond, Oakland, Dago, LB, City Week, Cut. What you know about it? Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know about it. Tell me what you know. Yeah. LA, the Valley, East Side, West Side, Sac, Romano, Vallejo, the Hillside. Know about it. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know about it. Tell me what you know. When I tell you, it's a freaking anthem, bro. And the video is stupid. Yo, I'm about to play you this joint. I want to play it in here. I want to premiere it for the pod. But I'll play it for you in the car.
Yeah. We'll keep it on the low for now. When does that drop?
May 18th.
That's on the album.
That's the single.
Okay.
The release day single.
Okay.
Yeah, we finna go all the way.
All right, man. Let's push it. Let's support this brother. Let's get it to the top, man. Let's tap in, man. Miles Minnick, the one and only. History of the Bay. This is some real history. This is something I've never seen before out the Bay. So
making history in the Bay. It's fitting we did the pod, man.
Oh boy.
Straight up.
Dregs One, another one like the other one. Peace, y'all.
Yee.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.